Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and today I'm taking a look at the Pace Edwards Jackrabbit retractable bed cover in gloss black, fitting 2020 and newer JT Gladiators. You can get the best of both worlds with this retractable cover from Pace Edwards. Featuring a sleek, low-profile design and some clever functionality, this is going to give you some added enclosed bed space with a slick appearance that's going to make your Gladiator more functional and just as stylish as a Jeep should be. Now, in my eyes, the one big foible of a pickup truck, and that includes the Gladiator, isn't the most capacious amount of storage spots to begin with. You don't have a lot of enclosed space outside of whatever's in your cabin. So if you find yourself needing more lockable storage space, then the Jackrabbit here might just be the answer that you're looking for. Built by the famed cat company Lear, this is a retractable cover. It has a lot of clever inclusions that make it super functional and easy to use. For starters, it combines the good looks of a soft cover with the protection of a hard cover. Now, this is super low profile. Basically everything from here down mounts inside of the bed, lower than the actual top of the bed line itself. So to a casual passerby, they may not even notice this at first. Now, low profile and slick top here also makes sure that everything is very aerodynamic, and it's going to keep your rearward visibility intact. Since there's nothing to fold or roll up or fold up to block your rear window, you're going to have no issue seeing out the back because of the cover, even when it is fully retracted. Now, whether you fill your bed with a bunch of stuff is another story, but at least the cover itself isn't going to block your view. Now, this is also really easy to use since you don't have to deal with rolling it up or folding up the cover. This is going to do it all for you. Now, right over here on the side, we've got a key lock, which is something nice to see on one of these covers. So it is going to lock separately. You can just put the included key in, lock it up. It's not going to go anywhere. Now, you'll also use that key to unlock it, and then this just doubles as your switch here. It retracts the mechanism. So you use the key to unlock it, and the cover is going to automatically retract back into the canister with one little pull of this strap right here. And that's going to do that thanks to the class exclusive continuous tension spring. Now, pulling the cover all the way closed is just as easy. Simply grab the strap, pull it straight out, and lock it at the edge. Now, this also just did exactly what I wanted it to do because it demonstrates that there are also positive lock points every 12 inches along these rails as well. So basically, you can have this part of the way open, halfway open, or somewhere in between. Gives you a lot more options rather than just fully open or fully closed. And that does separate it from other retractable tonneau covers out there. We don't see that on every single one of them. Now, these rails themselves are also worth discussing here because they have some cool things baked in. Now, all the mounting hardware that you need comes included in the kit, and it includes these leveling arms, which are going to keep the rails aligned. So that's going to make sure that the cover is smooth to operate all the way in and out, no matter what happens here. And there's also recessed channels inside of these guys to channel water out, so you can rest easy knowing that this cover is going to keep your valuables safe and dry. Now, that cover itself is made from a patented Armortech material, which is basically a padded black grained vinyl right here over top, and that's laminated over top of separate rigid aluminum panels, so you can feel them in here. This is going to give you the nice sleek look of a soft cover with the strong protection of a hard cover. Now, the canister top and the rails are also constructed from aluminum, and they're finished in a similar type of grained black to match the cover and some other trim on your JT. So it's going to look good and function well, and everything should be able to withstand the elements too. You also get some drains included for these, so these can match up with the rails, and these are arguably the nicest drains I've seen for a tonneau cover in a long time because they've got a seal around the edge here too, and they just feel pretty nice in your hand, not like they're going to break. All of those niceties, well, that's going to come with a price. And as for that, pricing for this one comes in at about $1,550. And that does put it on the more expensive side when it comes to tonneaus for the Gladiator. However, this is the least expensive option for a retractable cover. So if you want that retractable cover, this is going to be the budget-friendly way to make it happen. And it is really just a nice quality item too. Everything feels good, the operation is smooth, and you get a lockable tonneau cover as well, so it's going to make everything nice and safe too. Installation will come in at a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and this should take you about an hour to get it installed. It's a pretty straightforward installation. Everything is just going to clamp on with no modifications needed to your truck. You only need a few common hand tools, and if you ever want to remove it, it's not going to damage your bed either. And unlike a lot of other bigger retractable tonneau covers for full-size trucks, this one is pretty easy to handle too, so this is a job that you can do yourself. Not much more I can tell you about it here, so with that, why don't we go ahead and jump on out to the install bay and we'll walk you through the process.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an electric or regular 3/8 ratchet, 12mm socket, Phillips head screwdriver, panel removal tool, and included weather stripping. What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing a tonneau cover on our Gladiator, so let's get started. So to apply your weather stripping, you're going to first clean your surface and then peel off your white backing, and then you can press it down firmly and cut off your excess. Now we're going to install our canister. You can grab this strap and hold one end and make sure that the cab side is facing the cab. Then we can set it up, push it all the way back, and try to rest that in the middle until you grab your steps. So now we're going to be installing our rail. We're going to bring our rail down so it sits on top of the bed. Lift up on your cover and slide it through this track. And then you can line up the mounting point with the rail. Then we can tighten that down using our 12mm socket. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. Now we can install our kickstand mounts. We're going to lift up our rail and slide the rail between these two grooves. One is going to be mounted up towards the front of the bed and the other one is going to be mounted towards the rear. So now if you don't have factory rails, you're going to be installing this grip clamp and a pivot arm. So I like to thread this in before we get it installed so it makes it a little easier. We're going to install the bolt through this right side hole and thread it in the pivot arm, just a tad. Then we can slide these up, making sure that this notch is on top of the rail. Then you're going to tighten that down. Now you can repeat that process up front and on the other side. Then we can slide this through the hole. Then you could use your washer, lock washer, and your wing nut to tighten that down. Then you can get your jack stand in place, making sure that it is on a flat surface of the bed. Tighten your wing nut down. Then you can thread your kickstand in, making sure that now your rail is level so it doesn't scrape when your cover comes out. Now once you have this done, you can repeat the process in the front and on the other side. Now we're going to be installing our drain tube. We're going to grab our panel removal tool and pry up on this cover. Set it to the side. Then we're going to take our end and stick it in the reservoir, push it into place. Then you can take your tube and snake it down. And now you can repeat that process on the other side. Now we're going to install our cover that goes over the canister. You're going to want to make sure that the brush strip is facing towards the tailgate. We're going to set it over, grab our end caps. You want to make sure that the end of the cover slides into our end caps. We can line our holes up with the threaded hole. Then you can take your two bolts and thread them in. Then you can take your Phillips head screwdriver to tighten these down. Now for the other bolt. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. So that's going to wrap up the install on our Pace Edwards Jack Rabbit retractable bed cover in gloss black for your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thanks for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it here at extremeterrain.com.